Hello, it's Chris at RealWorld40 on Twitter. Back to do some more beer reviewing. Hope you're enjoying it. Right, today we've got a little bit of history and a local beer for me. I'm not of the Welsh persuasion, but I'm sure some of you are, and it's something that people out in the colonies or America will. Probably some of you have some Welsh lineage, so a little bit of a history lesson for you. Also a lesson in pronunciation. This is the from the CELT Brewery, based in Philly, and it's the Bleddyn 1075. I'll be picking that up there. So this is an award-winning brewery. I've had the Golden Ale before. It's pretty tasty. This is their take on a pale ale. So quite interesting there. So key thing, if you are English or not Welsh speaking, this may confuse you. It says Bleddyn on the bottle. The Welsh are a bit odd, and that actually is pronounced Bleddyn. So there you go. Bleddyn was a prince in Wales. Not like the Prince of Wales, that's a fairly modern phenomena. He was a prince in Wales, so for those of you who are familiar with your Saxon history, there would have been around the time of just before William the Conqueror, so 1066 and all that. We're looking at that period, hence the 1075. But prior to that, Bleddyn was a prince in Wales, and after Griffith ap Llywelyn was killed by Harold Godwinson, that name should ring a bell if you know anything about 1066. Bleddyn was one of the princes in Wales that he swore allegiance to Edward the Confessor, and on the back of that he got given Gwynedd and Powys as a reward. Meant to be quite a benevolent king, which is a good thing, I suppose. So without further ado, I'm going to crack this open. There endeth the history lesson. So, interesting bottling piece on this. They've gone for almost like a wine bottle, so that hangs on after you've whipped it off, unless you get your little cutter on there. Not really much point, because we're only going to pour it straight into the glass, so let's do that. There we go. A little bit of effort to get the head on that, but worth it. Well, we've got there. Well, I've got small fingers, but that's getting on for a 2-finger head. Experience tells me that looking at that's probably going to dissipate quite quickly. Not an awful lot from the nose, not from the first hit. Give me some idea of the consistency of the head. There you go. It's a big firmy one, but it's one that will drip off your finger. So be prepared to mop up the table if you're going to indulge in antics, such as waving foam around. Right, let's have another sniff, see what we can get now the head's gone down a bit. There's a bit of a malty hit in there. Like I said, this is their take on a pale ale. They've said that it's generously hopped with Atlantic and New Zealand varieties of hop, giving a crisp sweetness and a delicious citrus and grapefruit aroma. Now, not really getting the grapefruit from that one, but I've been spoiled recently with some wild kind of New World beers which really play on that, so probably looking for something more subtle in this, and good for them. So, last sniff. Still not giving much away, bit more of the fruit in there maybe. This has been lightly chilled. I've got a cold part of my kitchen where I keep my beer, and it tends to work quite well. They come out there at serving temperature from those beers. So let's have a bit of a taste. Kind of middling carbonation on that. It does well to It's not so carb that it makes you puff your cheeks out and get ready to do a burp within a couple of seconds. It is a carbonation that allows you to, those flavours in there, to develop a little bit in your mouth, which is a good thing as far as I'm concerned. Let's have another go at that and see what we get. One other thing, this is a beer with quite a hefty mouthfeel for its class. Very often with IPAs, they're kind of particularly ones that are generously hopped in the kind of with the New World hops. You'll find that they're relatively thin. This has got quite a thick mouthfeel for a pale ale, much more in the traditional English pale ale kind of type of beer. What's it giving me in terms of? Well, I picked up malt from the first sniff, and there is a definite sweet malt backbone to this one. It plays all the way through the flavour. It sort of comes in right at the front and is left there in the aftertaste as well. It's really quite pleasant. Yeah. And what you're getting in there as well is a hint of those kind of the New Zealand hops. Yeah. It's all in the bitterness right at the end. You're picking up those new style hops, and indeed the fruit as well. So it's predominantly a light malt, a sweet light malt, and then as it works its way through your mouth and then into your gullet, you're left with an abiding kind of sweet, citrusy, but not overly citrus. You're not getting into golden ale territory. It's still very much in the pale ale tradition. This is really rather good. Yeah, you can check these guys out on the web. They've got a web address. It's the www.theceltexperience.co.uk. They're based in Caerphilly in Wales. So, as we all know, how do you make cheese in Wales? Carefully. It's like grown in the background there. It does come with some nice dual language recipe type stuff, which for the monoglots out there amongst you won't make much sense, but for somebody living in parts of Wales, they'll probably get lots of that. With the English IPAs, or pale ales, it's worth remembering that they're not trying to compete with your Kiplings or with things like the 6 Point, the Bengali Tiger, or anything like that. They're very much a style on their own, and there's lots to enjoy in this. You're not looking to be surprised by a big whack of hops. You're looking for something that's going to be good to drink all year round. With the hoppier ones, they're very much they're better in the summer. I think, for me anyway, I find hugely refreshing in the summer, and those big hop tastes kind of wash away everything else. What I like in the rest of the year is to have that maltiness, and this is well balanced. It's got a good balance of hops and malts. It's got a good taste of fruit in there as well, but nothing is really overpowering any of those things within this beer. It's brewed well, it's balanced well. There's not much in the way of carbonation either. I don't know if you can pick that up from there. It's a good beer. It's a good, well, in this case, Welsh beer, not English beer. It's a Welsh beer. So my adopted homeland, although I am very much an Englishman and prior to that Cornishman, I'm gonna give this quite a generous rating. I would like to give this one last little check. I'm going to go for a 9. You can pick this up at Philip Morgan off licence in Canton in Cardiff. Please do, if you're ever in Cardiff, or you have occasion to be there, nip down to that off licence. They've got a good range of beer, probably the best locally anyway. and it's worth getting hold of some of this and try and get in on the rest of the range. So there you go, that's your Bleddyn 1075. Buy it, drink it, enjoy it. I'm off now to drink the rest of it. See you later. Cheers.